Eight years ago, in 2015 to be precise, that time I was a member of the Albanian parliament, I initiated a proposal of amending the civil code. A proposal that could oblige the administrators of online portals to remove any comment that breaches one's honor, dignity, or reputation. I thought I was doing the right thing, as it was in line with the decision of the European Court of Human Rights in the case of Delphi versus Estonia, confirming the liability of an online news platform for its readers' offensive comments. What happened, you might ask? I was labeled for introducing censorship, violating the freedom of speech, read freedom to offend. In a nutshell, a stiff debate accompanied by more fake narratives on the legislative proposal. The Albanian parliament didn't proceed on something that today has become a norm almost everywhere. So why I'm telling this? First, because what I did was spot on. I do believe that online world cannot be a space or a tool to give people more power to get into conflicts, spread disinformation and hate speech, or be drivers of a false belief. Disinformation is bad news. Somehow, people love bad news. But what is characterized as bad news today? Are fake news bad news, or the bad news about fake news is that we still call it news? We are surrounded by sources of disinformation or doubtful information, and myself, like many others, consume information from these sources. Over 70% of Europeans regularly encounter fake news. The frequency with which we encounter fake news and its potential to influence the way we think, how we vote, and what we believe has made it an important issue in today's society. Some say that by 2030, deep fakes could become easier to produce and so good that telling the difference between fake and real may become close to impossible. Have you ever seen a video of a guy who looks like Tom Cruise, behaves like Tom Cruise, but doesn't sound quite like him, yet your eyes are certain it's him, but you also feel that something is off? It is definitely not Tom Cruise, but AI generated the video using a so-called deep fake technology. And even though the social media account states it is deep fake and a parody, millions of people are commenting that they think it's him and do not believe it's not. So imagine a technology so powerful that it makes it look like you said or did something which you never have. False news travels 6 times faster than true news. Fake videos look so real, and real videos pass off as fake, so you don't know whom to believe and what to think anymore. Last year, a deep fake video of Ukrainian President Zelensky appeared, showing his surrender. Now, wars have always been led with a great dose of disinformation. But nowadays, as the example of Ukraine shows, it reached a new and very scary level. 7 out of 10 of our citizens agree that fake news and narratives are a problem for democracy in general. And 74% agree that disinformation is a security threat to their economies. Yet a solid majority of 57% feel confident that they are able to identify news misrepresenting the reality. But does our personal feeling on our ability to recognize fake news corresponds to the reality? And if you think that this cannot affect you, think it again. Between 75 and 96% of people in the Western Balkans are present online and have one or several social media accounts. The bad news about disinformation is what makes it viral. And this is not a metaphor. This is the reality. So we have something that concerns us. Therefore, we know something must be done, because the merchants of bad will stay in business as long as there are customers. What? This is my angle, so it's personal. The new modernism, determinism, fatalism, pessimism on the fake we feed ourselves each day that leads us inexorably back to the collapse of intellect, contemplating the future of our societies, will not come to an end. But it can be challenged. The challenge has costs. There is a price to pay for speaking the truth. When it comes to telling the truth today, do we really do it? And more importantly, do we really want to hear it? How much are we willing to spend on killing the fake news? And what level of risk are we willing to accept? There are media throughout the region that do just that, debunk fake news. But they cannot make it alone. Connecting organizations, media outlets, and educational institutions willing to kill disinformation could be the key to stop the messengers of fake news. Without the support of law, disinformation might be unstoppable. However, in our region, interest in the topic is present mostly during the election period, when disinformation and fake news stand between electorate, political parties, and results. Tech solution creators don't fancy the topic either, with all the major tools supporting protection of users against disinformation stopping by 2019. Have you heard of any efforts taken in our societies to curb various types of disinformation, including hate speech and attempts to influence elections and people's opinions? What about the spread of fake news by political parties? Do we really take this warfare seriously? What about education? Do your kids at school get any information or explanation on the disinformation? I asked friends everywhere in the region, parents and teachers, and there are some cases where this has been introduced. There are some efforts put in that direction, but mostly the answer was no, or at least not efficiently. Yet it can be discussed as a key skill in a number of school subjects like history, social studies, science, religious studies, art, informatics. Finland started educating children on how to combat fake news since 2014. Journalists in Europe voluntarily agreed to the EU Code of Practice and Disinformation, the world's first self-regulatory code aimed at addressing the spread of fake news. These are by no means accidental. We can make greater effort if we want. We can give a choice and encourage people to think like fact-checkers. People appreciate excellence in action. Unless there is an interest to keep going with what Hannah Arendt called human manipulability, sold on the market of common and learned opinion. So there is truth and there are lies. Lies told for power and profit. I agree.